Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show. It's Black Thor, Ice Water, and Puma. Let's go to the NFL. I'm thinking, Black, let's look at who could be the leading candidate for MVP in the NFL. I know we're coming to the Thanksgiving break, but I got one gentleman in mind. I won't say it until after y'all say yours, but who is your leading candidate? And then who are the players or the games that kind of stuck out this week?
Oh, okay. Realistically, Saquon Barkley has to be it, bro. He really has to be it. I know they're gonna kind of always favor a quarterback. They're talking Josh Allen. I don't know why. I guess because he's winning without, the other receiver. I don't think Josh has did nothing great. I mean, that's what he gives you every year. They get to the playoffs every year and then kind of get bounced out. But this guy has basically single-handedly lifted Philadelphia offense by himself, and he's carrying it. If you look at it last night, I think he had over total 300 yards. They only had like 450 yards of offense totally. Come on now. That's more than 70% of their offense going through him? So you got to be kidding me. So I'm not sure if they're going to kind of see it that way because NFL look at, the writers and for the most part, we that vote look at quarterbacks and they want to do it that. And speaking of players that are kind of stand out, if you were watching Sunday night, well, not Sunday night, Thursday night, and you're watching Cleveland against Pittsburgh, that brother Chase, I mean, not Chase, I can't think of his name right now, from Cleveland. Come on, man. And I love after the game, he called out J.J. Watt, like, you know what, he's good, but I'm better. I'm better. I get double team, I get triple team all the time, and I still get the job done. That's old school football to me right there, and not be afraid to basically stake your claim. So I look at that, even though their record's not good, to me, that cat to show up and dominate every single week says a lot about him. I mean, on average, I like what Chicago made a loss yesterday. I think Chicago showed that basically they're pointing in the right direction. They should forget about trying to get in the playoffs this year, just kind of grow as a team. Minnesota still kind of putting around a little bit. San Francisco, I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. Their window has closed, bro. I don't care who's on the field, who's hurt, whatever. That team had opportunities. That coach had opportunities. Give it up. Give it up.
Ice, I'm looking at MVP candidates for this year. I know we're in week 13, but I got a leading candidate in my head. And what are the players or the games that stood out to you this week?
You said you got one guy in mind for the
One
MVP.
guy, that's it.
Okay, I don't know what I'm trying to go through my brain real quick to see who the hell that is. I mean, I like what Black Thor said about Saquon Barkley. I mean, but the fact that they're not winning enough games and they're not in the spotlight, he probably won't. He may not get it because I think once they want a front runner, you can't throw. Unfortunately, you can't throw the Ravens quarterback. You can't throw Mar. To me, you can't. But I don't know. I mean, I like Barkley, but I'm gonna throw one crazy at you, and you might think I'm nuts, but this is sometimes how the media goes, and I'm probably wrong as hell. But I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. I know y'all hate to hear it, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. Patrick Mahomes, dog,
You
and
know,
I'm gonna take,
can't say
huh?
you're crazy about that. I can't say it. But yeah, I see
I
what you.
mean, so you can say, all right, you can give me them looks, whatever, and I'm cool with that. But what you gotta realize is how many games they winning, and they have had so many injuries from losing running backs, definitely wide receivers. Kelsey has not really been playing the way he's been playing. And guess what? Offensively, they brought back Kareem Hunt from 72 years ago. And the one common denominator in there is that quarterback. He only the three of us could go out there. He'd be like, look, man, Puma, once you go hit that out, 15 up, we good. He make it happen. I know Andy Reid is the coach and all that, and they got other people are playing, but the one common denominator is Patrick Mahomes. And they only lost one game. You say what you want to. Winning is contagious, and people like winners. And then people are probably hating on him because they don't want to see them winning no more. But you cannot dispute what that dude is doing.
No, I can't
Yeah.
dispute it. And I thought about that too because there have been some games where you're like, okay, Kansas City's cooked. And that guy will come up with a play or run the ball or this miraculous throw and just pull him out of the fire. So I do see that. I can see where it could go to him because he's kind of like the face of the league. You're two-time. I mean, you won the last two Super Bowls. Everybody's predicting that you're going to the next Super Bowl. But I got to give it to Saquon Barkley. And just what Black said, he took the words right out of my mouth. He is carrying Philadelphia. I was watching Jalen Hurts at an interview with him and Barkley, and he was just looking at Barkley and like, man, this guy, this guy right here. Because think about the years before when Jalen Hurts was running the ball all over the field and getting hurt. He doesn't have to do that anymore. He can play quarterback, hand it off to Saquon, and Saquon did the same thing he did with the Giants. It was like 75% of their offense. I don't understand how you could trade away or give away 75% of your offense and pay a quarterback that couldn't give you 25% of the offense that he needed to win those games. So I got to give it right now. I know it's early. I know it's the 13th week. Got to give it to Saquon Barkley. And I keep saying it all week. The Bears are done. I don't care what they do. They're just not going to win. They're like the schlep rocks of the NFL. They just can't get out their own way. And I turned the game off in overtime. I'm like, I know they're going to lose. They're going to miss the field goal or they're going to give the ball up. They're going to lose. And I said to some folks here in Chicago, I'd be surprised if the Bears win 6 games this year. They're probably going to be stuck at 4 games. And the quarterback, I have to admit, is playing a little bit better, but it's the coaching. I've been saying that all week. Let's go to the NBA. NBA eye test, Ice. What are you seeing out there, man?
Not a lot. I mean, I'm serious. A lot of people I want to watch is hurt, or like my man Holmgren is out for a while, but his team is still playing, and Cavs finally lost at 17-1. But I can't get excited because it's too early. One thing that did stand out, or still standing out, is the Sixers are 3-13, bro. And I know Embiid and all that too. Whatever they want to talk about, they're 3-13. Still waiting on the walking wounded to come back. You have to wonder what Nick Nurse is really thinking. I mean, as a coach, he's like, I signed up for this bull. Tell me he want to play when he want to play. He's like, y'all should have told me that before I came. Look, he's taking time off when he want to play. I don't know who's gonna show up tonight. The fact that the Rockets are still maintaining it, and it's early, they're 3rd overall, says a lot about that coach, and maybe the players want to play for him or something. Dallas in the West is in 9th place right now. It's crazy. 9th place after what happened last year. And also, too, just throwing it back out there, Minnesota's 8-8. Yeah. So did Big Cat make that big a difference? Or the funny thing is, and I'm not saying he made a big difference, but what I found hilarious is when I think I read something the other day where Gobert was mad because didn't pass him the ball, the forward that they got from the Knicks. He didn't pass the ball one time because he was open. I was like, what? Are you serious? He probably would have never said that to anybody else, but he was upset about that. And I'm like, wow, it's like that over. I can only imagine what Edwards is thinking. He probably laughing his ass off, like, I'm getting my money. I got to take care of these kids. He just like, I got other stuff to think about. And we don't win, cool, but I got to make sure my stuff at home is intact.
Thank God the Knicks didn't pick up Gobert. Black, what are you seeing in the NBA, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna go right with Minnesota real quick because I think last year's success went to their head. And I think they're basically thinking that they're there and they're not there, especially Anthony. Everybody kind of told him he's the next Michael Jordan, next LeBron. The league's waiting to be his. And some nights he's doing it, some nights he's not. I don't see it. And as I said, there's not much really to watch, man. I know Cleveland and Boston played a few games ago. It's a pretty good game. Cleveland almost won it towards the end. And I'm surprised Cleveland's still kind of hanging tough, man. They're still kind of doing their thing. And they might be there when it's all said and done. Philly's a mess, man. It's to the point where really the commissioner needs to step in with Philly and do something, man, because that team is just, that whole organization is just sloppy, being ran.
This early?
Oh, come on, bro. I mean, let's go back to Ben Simmons, man. It's just constantly nonsense to what they're handling in business, where they're doing things. Man, it's just crazy. It's pathetic. And it's ironic. When I look at some of the teams in the West play, I looked at the Nuggets play the other night. A lot of these teams just don't seem like they're motivated. And I'm not taking nothing away from Golden State, but there's no way in the world, man. There's no way in the world Golden State should be leading the West when it comes down to basketball right now. We look at what they kind of lost, the age of their 2 star players. How are they dominating the West and leading that way? Because for the most part, nobody really cares until the end of the season. And this tournament stuff they got going on, Missy, it's not making a difference, bro. They're gonna have to find a way to juice things up in the NBA. I'm not sure how, but they got to find a way to make it more exciting. Got to find a way these players make them want to play on a nightly basis. Right now, this back-to-back stuff they got going on, whatever, it's not working. These players are showing up when they want to show up, and it's not good ball.
Yeah, I kind of remember what you said a couple of weeks ago. I think both of you said it, that the attendance is down, and it's almost like, and I've been feeling this for a few years. College basketball, which we're going to talk about in a few, but we're going to talk about college football first. But I would rather watch college basketball than the NBA, and now it's like even more prevalent for me. It's like I'm going to watch college basketball. I'm going to watch all these tournaments. These teams are competing. These teams are some of the top teams in the country are playing against each other. It's more exciting than sitting down watching an NBA game. But that's how I felt years ago. Now it seems like everybody else is like kind of coming along with that, because you see the ratings with the college basketball games with, the Kentuckys, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, the UCLA beating South Carolina in the women's game last night. It seems like more folks are in tune to college and college football than, the NBA and sometimes even the NFL. But let's go to college football. I know that man, Ice Water, was talking junk yesterday at Black's podcast, When Black Men Talk, and he was saying, Indiana, Indiana. I'm gonna give it to you first. I ain't gonna let you stew in it. Ohio State, are they for real? Because now they're setting up a rematch with Oregon, who beat them by 1 point earlier this year. And it seemed like the SEC teams are just fading fast in the playoffs. And maybe Saban, kind of saw this coming and saying, you know what? Let me get out of here and let Alabama kind of fall, and people won't be blaming me, but wanting me back. So let's go with you in college football, man.
You say I was stewing and bragging. Huh? I wasn't bragging. I just kind of spoke out because what I found ironic real quick is all season, and you guys have mentioned before about people was on the hot seat. Ryan Day's on the hot seat. They coming for this man's job ever since last year. So the media's been taking shots at him. Even in the interview, somebody says, well, what are you going to do about the impressive 10-0 Indiana football team and what they're going to do to come up? They're ready. They're fired up. They're going to give you guys a lot of trouble. And he fired back. He said, we're pretty damn good too. We're pretty good too. And I've never really heard him say that. He usually just kind of blow it off, whatever. But I think he's starting to feel a little, if it's not the pressure, I think he get a little pissed off. People coming at him for all this stuff and talking about it, because he's usually a mild-mannered guy. If you even around him, he seems a pretty cool customer. But he shot back like, say something else. I dare you to say something else. He's like, he getting pissed off. But all I'm going to say is Indiana's a hell of a team. I think they are really tough. But at the end of the day, say what you want to. It wasn't pretty what Ohio State did. And I've had people call me up and text me talking about, oh, it was the crowd. I said, oh, it was the crowd, huh? Okay, that's what it was. It was the crowd. But I just don't think they got enough people, man. And what I mean by that is being on that stage and enough quality athletes, kind of like what happened to Colorado. You can say what you want to. I like Deion, but Kansas was like, bruh, we've been losing for a lot of years. And you come in here with the wrong attitude, wrong whatever, we're going to get up in you. We're going to get physical with you. And I think that's what Ohio State did, because you saw in certain instances where they had a couple special teams issues, Indiana that is, with muff punts or somebody can't handle the ball and the weather and all this. And Ohio State said, we just got to do what we got to do to try to make it happen. So I think Indiana is going to be okay. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. The other thing real quick is just trying to figure out, what's going on with Penn State? They squeaked by Minnesota. Squeaked by 26-25?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And Ole Miss loses to Florida. Florida quarterback is real. I'm glad they gave that man his job. Can't just let him keep his job, because that young quarterback, I think he can do something. They get some players to come back over there too. And with that, and with Kiffin, same old Kiffin, good Kiffin, bad Kiffin. Last thing for me is Arizona State shocking BYU. I thought BYU was really on the cusp of doing something this year. But again, it's coming down to the nitty gritty. That's all I'm saying. I told you early on, we're going to see. We're going to see. It's a lot of pretenders early, It's real now, baby. Where you at? Where you at?
Black, your thoughts, man. It just seemed like the SEC. I don't know what the committee is going to do with all these SEC teams with 3 losses coming into in a playoff. Come on now, this ain't the NFL. So give some other teams a chance. And then you mentioned yesterday about the Notre Dame coach. He's quietly just moving his team up the ranks, and they're in that top 7. You know, that top 7 teams. I think they're not ranked number 4, if I'm not mistaken. They're ranked number 4 after Ohio State and Oregon, and I think Penn State. Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it's interesting because one thing I do like about this open up to 12 teams, it makes it a little more intriguing and brings some excitement. I don't believe once you get past Oregon, Oregon and Ohio State, I don't think anybody else are really contenders. I think they're going to jockey around a little bit. Like you said, Notre Dame, they might be 4 or 5. I don't trust them. I'm happy that for the head coach that when the season started, things didn't look too good after one loss. He kind of rides the ship and got things going pretty good. I don't understand what's going on in Penn State. I don't trust them. So a lot of teams that are kind of lined up. We saw what happened with Indiana over the weekend with Ohio State. I think they was ranked 5 when they played Ohio State. About the 3 lost teams, SEC, I would be surprised, bro, because how are you going to have a top 12? You have a lot of SEC teams in there. Alabama, they were trying to find a way. We said this a lot about Notre Dame over the past years. They're going to find a way to try to get Alabama in there. Let's just for boost the morale alone. They're going to try to find a way to get Alabama in there and Georgia. If they could, they would try to sneak LSU in there, but they just can't, man. So you're going to probably see it. I look at Colorado. To me, what happened, I like how Deion handled it because, they was kind of getting too big with their mouth. They're starting to think it was different. But when you play a team that basically run 3 plays and beat the pants off you, you got some problems, on that defensive side. You got some problems. And they're coming along. So to me, it's starting to kind of settle down a little bit. You're going to have some pretenders. There's a bunch of them. But Oregon, Ohio State, to me, they're the cream of the crop. They'll all settle down. I think we're going to see them playing for the big one.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to the playoffs and who's going to get in, who's not going to get in. We can't argue about it now because 12 teams are getting in regardless of what we say. It's not that, the regular old 4. So whoever gets in, and they're going to have to play their way to a championship. Let's go briefly to college basketball. Kansas, number 1, is going to be playing Duke tomorrow night. And you got Kansas, UConn, Gonzaga. They got a bunch of brothers on Gonzaga now. The white guys are off the team. Got a bunch of. I thought it was. I saw the G and I saw them brothers on the court, and I thought it was Georgetown. Georgetown got, I think, Rhode Island's old coach. They look pretty good. I was watching them. I forget the brother's name, but Auburn's number 4, Iowa State, Houston number 6, Tennessee number 7, Kentucky number 8, Alabama number 9, and Marquette, who won some impressive games. Are at number 10, and Duke kind of fell to number 11. But for me, Black, I don't know if you've been watching, but they've been touting this freshman at Duke as the next number 1 draft pick. And I saw him in a game against Kentucky and how he kind of just crumbled at the end. And I'm like, not so fast. Don't give him that yet.
I'm going to say this about Duke players, man. We was all hype about Zion coming into the league. Been a big disappointment, bro. So miss me with any more big talk about Duke players, bro. Because as we know, there's a lot of them come to the league, they get lost. And he's one that's gotten lost for different reasons. So I'm not really paying attention. I noticed that I was watching UConn recently. They lost to Penny's team.
They did lose to Memphis. Okay.
They went down to Memphis. And I'm looking at UConn team, and I said to myself a couple of times I'm watching it, you should have took that Lakers job, boss, because I was that you just got that this year. You should take that Lakers job or take another job because I think UConn's going to give it a good battle, but I'm not sure they're going to be victorious, man, and kind of three-peat. So it's kind of wide open. I think some teams that last year that wasn't kind of really doing their thing has kind of stepped up. Baylor look like they're pretty strong. It's going to be very interesting as we come down to the end.
All right, Ice. I know you've been checking it out. I was checking out my North Carolina Tar Heels. I thought they were ranked too high. They're ranked at number 12 right now. They got 1 loss. They're going to be playing Dayton a little bit later. That should be a good game. What's your thoughts on college basketball, man?
Well, I've been watching a lot. I'm kind of like Black Throne and take.
Yeah, we're gonna take his page out of his book. We ain't gonna watch.
We're not gonna watch. We're gonna wait till it get real close and we start watching. What's really good about it is the fact that you know, you got a lot of teams that are hungry, that are really coming out, playing real hard. You got teams like, you know, Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M always has the guards play, and they play really good and come after you. Duke is Duke. You know, they pump up, was it Flag and whatnot coming out, and they have another big fella that can play too. But, you know, when you start, the one team that I think is really decent, and nobody really talking about them, but I think they always find a way to be up and down. I'm not saying they're gonna win it all, but they're gonna cause some problems. Kentucky is a serious problem this year. They are a serious problem. I like the new coach Pope came in. He has nothing to lose. He's standing on what he has to do, and they just kind of going after it. And they have enough athletes that on any night they can play with anybody. And if you get in the way, they will. You know, I think that's what they did to Duke, right? They got in the Duke's way, like, look, okay, we heard about you. We know what you do, and get your little points. But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, we're gonna shut you down. I think Houston's like that as well. And if they can have a fight every week, that might be Auburn as well. Auburn they are monsters. And I'm like, they need to have a fight every week on the plane because they're big, they got guards, they have everything you need, defense, shooters, everything. They remind me of some other teams that just kind of come at you with athleticism. But I'm not sure how long you can keep that running. But yeah, it's going to be interesting all the way through. I like it like that because nobody knows. And, you know, Black Thorn will be bouncing around. It'll be interesting to see what he picks this time.
UConn. He did the same thing last year. Oh, they ain't no good. They ain't no good. Pick UConn. No more smoke.
Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, you know, follow me, man. Follow me. I did win it 3 times in a row, so you may want to take some notes. I got you.
All right, I'm gonna double up on this. A quick hitter and your last second shot, Black.
Ooh, quick hitter, man. I looked around and something that jumped out to me. I saw where the NFL was telling its players that I guess the South American people are coming over, targeting and trying to rob them from their homes and their goods. And I thought that was rather interesting. And it's what I'm noticing too, man. A lot of these news stories that's coming out, the main sports media, they're not covering it. They're like letting it just kind of drop out on these websites and these apps and not saying much about it. But that being said, man, I think for us, you know, we got to look at who's really giving our information when it comes down to sports and world news in general. Because a lot of times people now in these sports companies, they're basically giving you their narration because they're in the bed with a lot of them. You look at ESPN, they're in the bed with the NFL. They're in the bed with them all. Basically, they're in bed with the NBA. So for the most part, they thinking down stories that you don't really want them to feature. They don't want them to feature. So our news will be able to be drizzled down.
Ice.
Yeah, real quick on this quick here from the standpoint of NCAA is showing desperation. They're trying to still stay relevant from the standpoint of now where they're saying that the NIL, they're going to have back pay for NIL for former college athletes. Yeah, that's part of the new system they're putting together. There's a new part of that. And part of it is go back all the way back to 2016. That former athletes that played are going to have a chance to kind of, you know, get some of that NIL money. There's a pot about $2.5 billion, you know, so it's kind of based on money they could have made in the NIL deal that started back in 2021. But my point with all this to say that is 2016 is great, but first, 2 things come into my mind very quickly is, first of all, what athletes are going to get that money? Who? Can an offensive lineman that was a red shirt, whatever, for 4 years, is he going to get some of that money? And the question is it a position, a certain sport that's going to get the money, and how much are they going to get? So when you say that, what are the lines? Because you know some quarterbacks are like, hell, I should have got this, would I led the team, whatever. I want to see the particulars and how they divide this money. And when you really break it down with all these athletes that are going to be signing up, 2.5 billion go real quick, bro.
All right. One quick one for me. I'm wondering if the NFL and coaches really kind of admit that fans know what they're talking about when they say you got to get rid of coaches like the Bears coach, the Giants coach. When do they really kind of come to grips and admit that the fans do know a little bit about this game? That's our show. We'll catch you next time.